Yo, 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 no maniacs. Welcome to the show. This is Nomad Live, all bears all the time. And we're in conjunction with Sports Zone Chicago and my guy Shawn Sierra, the SuperBack. We got a bunch to talk about, man. How about for starters, man? There's a whole bunch of pictures. I mean, there's a picture that's becoming clear and more clear by the moment. And then there's a whole bunch of people that are in flat out denial. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised to know that in the Chicagoland area, and I'm not making fun of anybody with mental health issues whatsoever. I'm an MHP. I'm a mental health professional, so I wouldn't do that. But I would like to imagine that the prescriptions for Wellbutrin and Lexapro is probably going through the roof right now. And, you know, I think it's a lot of news that happened yesterday. The options are becoming limited as to where we're going to, some of these fans are going to ship Justin Fields off to, whether it be all the way from Atlanta, who was a hot choice for everybody, all the way now to the Giants, who just signed Drew Lock. And so now we're sitting in a situation where, hold on, let me get Shawn back in here. You all right?
I'm okay. I'll be fine.
No, hey man, I didn't mean to make it. I was definitely not trying to. I was definitely
Don't
not.
even trip, bro. Don't even trip. Don't even trip. It happens, dude. I produce shows too, dude. It happens. I get it.
I did not mean to do that. I was being serious, man, because I actually saw a person that said something to me in my DM and said that he made a mistake at getting himself all hyped up and worked up about, you know, the idea of trading Justin Fields and drafting Calebwilliams. And he's not feeling good. Somebody actually said that to me in my DM. So I would absolutely not make fun of that. But the truth is, I would imagine that there's a bunch of people that's probably suffering the same feelings that he has, man. You know, it's just like you get yourself worked into a fervor that something is absolute, and then the chips start to fall and the domino start to roll, and you're not seeing exactly what you thought was going to happen. The reporters, I mean, on the national media, the local media, they are in shambles, man. They have led people to believe that something was going to happen. I don't know that ryanpoles isn't doing a number on them to drive a narrative to get the desired effect that he wants. That could be true. And if he is doing that, it's masterful, absolutely masterful, leaving the ambiguity out there for people to kind of, you know, get the assumption that we're going to do something with Justin. And nothing seems to be further from the truth, from my estimation. And so let's just start there, kids. Let's give out a few pleasantries before we do it.
Man, chat's popping as per normal. What's up, no maniacs? What's good? Geez, man, lots of fun stuff in Bears land. I'm still waiting for a defensive end, but I ain't complaining. I think there's plenty of room for plenty of moves to be made, but I won't get into all that just now. I'll pass it on to my guy Keith, and we'll figure this thing out as we go. What do you got to say, Keith?
Hey, hold on, Joseph Matuzak. Can you tell me what he did to drop the mic? I didn't get to see that show.
Funny, because I was midway through that there this afternoon. I didn't quite get to the Peter King part. Good old Greg Gabriel was, he was keeping receipts too.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Good afternoon, no maniacs and our sports zoners of Chicago. How y'all doing? Yes. It is about time for us to kick it and talk some Bears football. I am excited about today to see who else lands and where do they land. I'm like Kedz. I'm waiting on a defensive end myself, but guess what? That's okay. We'll talk about that when that time comes. In the meantime, I guess we'll just kind of spread the love. Let's really jump into how they are continuously trying to demean and put our current quarterback down. I'm going to pass it to my man, Shawn, that SuperBack. What you say today, my brother?
Gentlemen in the house. No maniacs, sports owners unite. Thanks for tuning in. And I'm fired up, man. They got the same. They keep push. They still want to push it. Okay, you know what? The longer you push it, you know what it's like. It's like when you're wrong, you're caught in a lie, and you still just deny it. You still deny. We were taught that deny, and there's no way around. And what's going to happen is when it all was said and done, and they trade that first pick. And I told you, March 20th, shortly after March 20th, shortly after Caleb's visit to Chicago, all right, I believe they're going to trade that overall number 1 pick shortly thereafter. All right. I explained to you why yesterday, and people are going to they're going to be in a conundrum. They're going to be in a little hissy fit. So if you ever want to piss someone off, antagonize them the day that news comes out, you will really, really get under their skin. Look, this is today's newspaper. Right? This is today's newspaper, and they're talking about it on the Molly and Hollis forum. They're talking about it.
Is the list number?
And they're talking, well, no one wants Justin Fields. No one. I'm like, you guys just. I said all these college degrees here, all these college degrees and these bachelor's degrees and master's degrees, and with all these sports writers, and they can't see. They obviously don't know how to finesse. Harry Houdini did it best. There's a distraction, and that's got all our attention. All right, you got somebody saying, "Oh well, guess what? He's not good enough. He's not this. He's not that," and everyone jumps on it. Okay, no problem. We're going to talk about it. We're going to dispel that. We're not going to dispel the myth because you know what? People are going to believe what they're going to believe. We're just going to give you we're going to show you. We have shown you, but we'll continue to show you why this young man is saying. And he's going to be the QB1 for our Chicago Bears.
Who's the author behind this so-called?
That one was Patrick Finley.
I expect better from him, man. He wasn't the guy that I would have identified as someone that would do that, but he gets his mark.
Dude, they're all, bro. They're all. You know what it's like. And I was teasing Glenn the other day because Glenn Morgan I had him on my show, and he's starting to go that way. I said, it's like you're in a barrel of fruit or a bowl of fruit, okay? And one of them is starting to spoil and get rotten. It infects all of them. I said, come on, man, you got to come back on this side, Glenn. You got it. And I told him, I was like, dude, you have to. I said, trust me, I would not lead you astray. And he was just started laughing. I'm like, all right, bro, you're still my man and everything. Just know, I'm gonna be like, I done told you.
Man, let me because I'm trying to help Brian in the chat because his computer's a little slow, kids. So when you hear me talking, man, if you don't mind,
I got you.
Pick up a little slack. But hey, man, I've been think about this for a second. Just think about it for a second, and everybody can get a chance to react to this. When I tell you guys, I think logically, and I take myself out of my own mind. And when I'm talking about this kind of stuff, and I try to imagine what it's like for other people, put myself in other people's shoes, which is, if I had to pat myself on the back, it helps me do a better job at being accurate when I speak, and say things. And I sometimes I guess that things are going to happen and they happen. And here I am doing that again. And what I'm going to say right now is pretty common, but you would, after I say it, you're gonna start to feel like, you know what, that makes sense. But the fact that if Justin Fields didn't feel comfortable in this situation with how he's being handled, I think by now, it'd be known that he asked for a trade or he's asking for a trade. And that you've heard nothing of the such as of right now. And the fact that we haven't heard that, I believe that rings and crystallizes a lot of things with me. He's just sitting back and allowing this to play out and hoping that, Poles gets what he wants out of this situation. He may have to sit and be quiet a little bit longer, because they do have that, supposedly they have that pro day on the 20th, and they're going to go there, and that's going to get all hyped up when Caleb throws wild looking balls, and that whole media fervor is going to spin up just quite a bit more after that. And so just think about that for a second. The fact that he hasn't asked for a trade, does that tell you something, kids?
Yes. It's not only that he didn't offer a trade, it's also that they never put him on the trading block quite clearly. We can see every team that was speculated to potentially trade for Justin Fields scrambling out there trying to figure out stuff. The Raiders got themselves Gardner Minshew. It's so funny to me. Again, being in Canada, everybody kind of has their own team. It's quite a bit different than being in the Chicago area where everybody's, for the most part, a Bears fan, or you're from someplace else and you have a reason for not being a Bears fan. Over here, you could be a fan of just about anything. A lot of my friends are Raiders fans. We have great back and forth. I was teasing them. Khalil Mack being traded to the Bears for years before it actually happened. And when it actually happened, I'm hollering at these guys going, we got your guy. I told you. And my guy has been my guy's also in a fantasy football league with me. And he drafted Gardner Minshew as his second QB 2 seasons ago. And he spent the entire season just cracking jokes about Gardner Minshew and how he thought he was just the worst quarterback in the league. And why did he pick him up? At the end of the day, he's now, to make matters worse, we have a Chinese food restaurant here in my city called Minshew Wok. So every time we talk about Gardner Minshew, we refer to Gardner Minshew as Minshew Wok. And it's just jokes. So I've been going back and forth with him, cracking jokes about how, that's who wound up in Vegas. And it goes across the board. You look at Minnesota now; they're going to Sam Darnold, who hasn't really had a good go of things, and we'll see how that goes. I will jump in here and say odds are most of those teams are really looking at potentially doubling down and getting themselves a different quarterback in this upcoming draft, which I can relate to and understand. But as it pertains to Justin, I have a feeling Justin already knew what was cracking. I have a strange feeling about that.
Poles talk about it, Kedz. They know. You don't act like you think. No, Poles has been honest with us.
I think he has
good communication with him and his peoples, all his people.
I think that's representative of that little short video that we really haven't brought up or discussed here, in this forum. But that little short video of Justin just sort of jumping in his kitchen saying "let's go," and he takes off when he's talking to his agent. Odds are his agent was likely informed that they're not going to put you on the trading block at all. You're sticking around, barring something unforeseen happening. And again, that unforeseen thing is a number one pick offer, right? Not number one, but first round pick offer. You might have to consider that, right? You might have to take that into consideration. But I don't think that's on the table in any capacity at this present time. So those of us who were really hoping that this was the end of the Fields era in Chicago, I'm sorry, guys. I don't think that's going to be the case. I'm heavily under the impression that a certain Mr. Fields will be sticking around, and I'm hoping that we get to see an angry Justin. That's what I want to see. I want to see angry Justin on the field, just exacting vengeance on any potential oncomer. So let's go. Let's do this thing. Bear down. Oh, before I pass it on to the next man, Keith, let me get at some of these awesome super chats that came in. Doge Killer Don. Huh?
Come up, kid. Just one at a time.
All right. So we got my man Doge Killer Don. Yo, that Doge went up, brother. I've been looking. My lady went down a little bit, but it's okay. I'm still up quite a bit. Thank you. Beers on me. Bear down. That's what the man says.
Shout out. So
big cheers to you, Doge Killer Don. I don't have any beer as yet, but little OJ goes a long way. Plank, $2. Number one no maniac in my heart. Plank, you're the guy. 109 eyes, 109 eyes, only 35 likes. Let's get this likes up. Thumbs up, bear down.
Thumbs up for us, the ones that put up the money.
All right, my bad. I should have popped that one up for Plank. There's my guy. Hey, y'all. 100 plus in the chat. Let's get this. Oh, geez, we're at 200 already in the chat, which is pretty nuts. By all means, guys, a lot of new heads. I saw you out there, Doug Van Dorn. I know you come in and out every so often. It's been a while. Welcome back, Cotter. Thanks for representing with us. And by all means, like, share, subscribe.
Kids, who was the other guy that gave a $2?
Oh, it's our homie King Booker World, man. King Booker threw us a couple of bucks. 2 just to call you a lame. You know who you are. I'm not sure who that shot was at, whether it's me, Shawn, Keith, or Nomad, or potentially you're like a Leonidas or somebody in the chat, Mike Hoffman. I'm teasing you, Mike. In any event, King Booker, you are one of those guys that always represents with us. Once more, thanks for coming through. Thanks for sending some love.
And by the way, we got another subscriber. Daryl Gibson became a subscriber. I seen that pop up.
What are you talking about? Daryl Gibson hasn't been a subscriber all this time.
I guess not, man. I just seen.
Damn, Daryl.
Maybe he created another email address using the email address and did that.
We could double up. He's doubling up. All right, I'll call it a double up because
how you look at things. We'll go with that's a good way to go at it. Let's look at it that way, right, Daryl?
That's it, Daryl. Like, Daryl represents with us every day. No question. So big ups to you, Daryl. Thanks for liking, sharing, and subscribing as always, man.
All right, you guys want to pivot right quick to some signings that just happened or some releases. You know, mine
right ahead. Go ahead, bro.
Let me get some other chat going on. Brian, you can put up chat again now if you want to. So I got here's an interesting name. I don't know how many people are familiar with this guy's play because he was a Packer for a little while, and then he went to Minnesota, I believe. Dean Lowry, a defensive tackle.
Mike Lowry.
Dean Lowry. He's released.
Lowry.
Very underrated 3-tech. Very underrated 3-tech. Who it's an interesting piece if they want to get a little bit of depth. You know, we just lost Justin Jones. You know, to I can't remember what Cardinals, I believe. But
he went to Arizona.
There are holes that we're going to have to fill, and I'm just pointing that guy out. Dean Lowry is a nice piece.
See, look what I said about Daryl. See, he doubled up accidentally.
Joe Mixon did not get released. He got traded.
Yeah.
Got traded to Houston. So Houston's gearing up. They're trying to gear up, man. And Joe Mixon is a top 10 running back in the league, in my opinion.
Yeah, I was surprised at that.
Yeah, depending on, his style may not be for everybody, but for a physical football team that wants to really pound the ball and control the line of scrimmage and control the clock, Joe Mixon is a good pickup for them. And, of course, Mooney went to Atlanta. That hurt my feelings, but, I understand. We're going to talk about him in a little bit when Chris gets back here.
All right.
Let me see. I think I saw that Patrick Queen went to the Steelers. Is that,
yes, sir.
Put that in there?
Yep. Gone to the Steelers. 3 years, $41 million, I believe.
That's interesting, man. We'll come back to that. The Ravens picked up Derrick Henry, the King.
So that's official too.
Yep.
So I knew as soon as I saw that, Kedz was gonna be like, he ain't gonna be a happy Canadian.
That's nasty.
It don't affect me now. You know what I mean? It affects me yesterday before we. It affected me yesterday, but hey, what can you do? In any event, I appreciate what they did to get Swift in. I also look at that like Joe Mixon wouldn't have been a bad move either, but I wouldn't have given up any draft capital for him. That's the unfortunate reality there. Just draft a guy in that scenario. But
here's another interesting move. Noah Fant re-signs with the Seahawks.
No, that one I didn't want.
Yeah, I thought there was a chance we could have got him.
Yeah, I was hoping. All right,
where's Chris when you need him? That's one Chris would go deep on.
Here's another couple of guys that we speculated that might become Bears that are gone now. Number one is Drew Lock. Is apparently, I don't know, I haven't sourced that out, but word is that he's going to the Giants. I was thinking he could come here and be our backup, but that's apparently not going to be the case this year. Aaron Brewer, center, has gone to the Dolphins. And so there, any one of those names you want to stop and talk about, kids, and we'll just go around the horn.
No. You keep going. I'm disheartened to hear about the Aaron Brewer situation. In my opinion, I would still like them to get, so if you line it up, Master Bates, which is what I'm going to call him moving forward. Master Bates has fully replaced Cody Whitehair, right? So guard/center. That is a true replacement for Cody at a much lower price tag. Well done, ryanpoles. But who's the true replacement for Lucas Patrick is really where my headspace is. And I'd like to see them get a dedicated center for that position. Now, Ryan Bates can play either and or center or guard and swing when the need is, when the requirement is there. So sad to see Brewer gone elsewhere, but maybe they're looking at somebody else, like potentially an Evan Brown at a lower price tag.
I'm still with my eye on. Mm-hmm. That's exactly what I'm keeping my eye on. Evan Brown.
Yeah.
I think would be a really good fit simply because he played in Waldron's system. So who better
to
come in and be able to help with getting everything ramped up and moving forward. I'm going to circle back on something that we had started out talking about before we started talking about the other picks and not picks, but free agents and where they landed. It's amazing to me when we talk about with regards to Justin Fields and whether or not he was available to be traded. Let's look at it this way. Everybody had him speculated to go to Atlanta. Atlanta chose to take a guy that's 36 years of age. The last time we saw him playing football, he was being carted off the field with an Achilles. And they also guaranteed him $100 million. Where Justin is supposed to be receiving a little over $2 million this upcoming season. I say that because if he was really on the market to be traded, don't you think that would make a very wise decision? Or did Arthur Blank choose to go with somebody that he felt more comfortable with? Hint, hint. Either way, I just don't believe that the guy was ever on the trading block. And everything now is showing that that's exactly how it's lining up, man. It's really come down to now the value of the number one pick and who's willing to pay what to come get their guy, whoever that guy is, at whatever position. So I'm not going to harp on it. I'm going to pass it to my man, Shawn, and let Shawn kind of elaborate a little more on it. But, hey, man, sometimes you just got to take the L and realize that you threw a narrative out there that just wasn't true.
Before you go, Shawn, let me say a shout out to Paul Rodriguez. First time in the chat. He's been watching live. So welcome him to the chat, you guys. And welcome to the family, Paul. Appreciate having you here. Go ahead, Shawn.
Yeah, it gets tiring listening to these people. And what I'm talked about earlier, like all these degrees and bachelor's degrees and master's degrees, and you can't literally see what's happening. He was never on the block. He was never on the trading block. And here's why. All right, I said it yesterday. I said it the day before, but I'll say it again. All right, there are a lot of things you just don't want to acknowledge them. You see them, but you don't want to acknowledge them, okay? If the Bears were done with Justin Fields, if Justin Fields was the problem, if Justin Fields was the worst quarterback in the world, if Justin Fields was the guy that they didn't believe in, if Justin Fields was expendable, okay, why did they fire the entire offensive staff and not Justin? Rid of me that, Batman. It'd be so much easier to get rid of a player, trade a player, than an offensive staff. And if he was the issue, guess what? You would have taken whatever you got for him to get rid of him. All right, you only got a second round from Roquan. He's an all-pro. So it means you're most likely going to get something less than that. Okay, so that's one thing. Why didn't you just get rid of him instead of the entire offensive staff? Why didn't you let him go search for a trade? You let JayLonJohnson go search for a trade. You said, go find out what's out there on the market. Okay. Rid of me that, Batman. He had that opportunity, but he didn't. They didn't. When people hear what they want to hear. When you talked about, and I love ryanpoles, all right, because I'm a person who understands that words are powerful. So what you say is powerful. So if you listen to what he said about the Harbaugh thing, you remember what someone asked him when someone asked him what he said? He said, "I did not talk to Jim Harbaugh." Doesn't mean he didn't talk to his representation. He said, "I did not talk to Jim Harbaugh. He's the head coach of Michigan." He made 100% right. They talked to his agent, most likely. So when he said at the combine, people had come up and asked about Justin. Oh, the trade talks, he's putting him on the market. You can't stop someone else from asking you about a potential trade partner, a trade for a player. You can't stop them. That's their job. All you did was shut it down. Say nope. I almost guarantee you. Again, I don't have a source. Our source is this common sense. He shut him down. You know why? Look at how fast all the teams that wanted Justin grabbed quarterbacks. Why? Because he's not that he was off the market. He was never on the market. And I've explained in depth why he wasn't on the market. I explained in depth what Caleb is trying to do. And why I was annoyed with the Bears didn't want to move his thing back to the 20th, his visit. They wanted it on Tuesday. And they made up some excuse. Well, we don't want to interrupt his thing. Bro, you're flying a private jet, dog. You're flying a private jet. You could have come right here from Indianapolis, right up 65. You could have come right here the next day or two, got it out of the way, and be done with it. Okay, but he's doing something. There's a reason why he's doing what he's doing. Justin's not going anywhere, guys. All right, I fully believe it in everything that I've seen, and I'll tell you more. But that's a whole nother story. We got to get to some more news from today. But man, good morning, good afternoon in the world. Justin staying, in my opinion. Justin is here, and he's going to lead us into the playoffs for a deep run.
Kedz, would you mind jumping on the chat for help Brian out right quick? Couple things. A couple quick things. Terrence Williams. Shout out to Terrence Williams. He's a part of the family too. I don't know. I think he needed that shout out, needed that love. And there you go, Terrence Williams. Welcome to the family, man. Appreciate having you here. 2, don't worry about Mike Hoffman no more. He's gone. He's just in there trolling and talking all kinds of crazy. No need for that, man. You know, I could deal with it for a little bit, but if it's just constant and that's all you want to do is troll and say crazy stuff all the time, man, you got to go do that somewhere else. I can't have it, man. Sorry. But moving on. I think you just put a note up in there, Keith. Let me look at that again. Aaron Jones to the Vikings, 1-year deal. Jameis Winston to the Browns. That whole thing with the Packers is pretty perplexing. You know, I think the world of Josh Jacobs. I think he's top 1 or 2 or 3 best running backs in the league, and that's saying a whole bunch. And for them to pretty much gut their running back room for Josh Jacobs was pretty damn perplexing to me. And this the fact that they did that, I think that deserves a little bit of conversation. But Aaron Jones going over to Minnesota tells me, all right, if that's how y'all want to play it, I'm gonna find a way to stick it to you up here.
Yeah, and
one way or the other, you're gonna deal with me.
Yeah.
We're gonna get to you. Well, how you feel about that, kids?
Keith, you go, man. Go ahead, Keith.
Okay, thank you. I'm gonna be honest. I was surprised. I mean, and again, Josh Jacobs. I mean, when you talk about him, you know, if a guy like that is available, you definitely want to add him to your team. But what really got me was the way that they did Aaron Jones, man. Because if you knew that you were going to move off of him, you could have let him go earlier that day before other running backs found homes. Instead, you held on to him. All these other running backs found a landing spot, and then you release him. Here's a guy that has played hurt. He's giving you 7 years, you know, but yet you toss him out after the fact instead of allowing him to have opportunity to at least really test the market and maybe get a longer deal. But I like the fact that he's going to the Vikings so he can stick it to them more than anything else. So I love it in regards to on his behalf. A little perplexing on how Green Bay handled it, though.
Well, I think he stayed in the division because he wants a shot at Green Bay. I think it was a good shot for him. And you know what? Truth be told, he wasn't.
Exactly what it is.
It's not like he waited long. You know, when I think Green Bay took that into account, like, dude, once we cut him, he's not going to be on the market long. It didn't even take him. You know what I mean? Like it was like 5 seconds. You know, it was.
Yeah, it's just the fact he don't have a chance to maybe get a longer term. You know what I'm saying? Longer than
his age and everything. His one, I think he just decided to stay that. But we'll see. We'll see how it is. And actually, truth be told, I don't really give a damn about that. I'm more worried about us. The hell what they do up there. They can go kick rocks and GFY, the little inbred people up there. All right. So for me, I couldn't care less. All right, because we got to stop. We got to stop, and we got some ballers now. All right, we got some ballers on the defensive side of the ball. So you know what? I don't give a damn who's on whoever's offense. I need a Jaquan Brisker to decapitate or put his face. You know what? You can't do that because then it's, you know, I want to put his face mask or break someone's ribs. Just a nice shoulder shot to the ribs. All right, nice and legal. Okay. What's wrong, Nomad? Is that legal or not? You know what I'm saying? Hey,
that's pretty aggressive, man.
That's you know what? Take him out. Take him out. That's what I need Jaquan Brisker to do. Nice shoulder to the rib cage. Do to be breathing. Believe me, I play with crack ribs, and that's not fun. That is not fun.
Well, let's because Chris just popped in here, man, and on the other side of this quick break, we're going to talk about the Mooney situation and the receivers. We absolutely have a hole in the roster right now, and you know it's going to have to be a move made. how that happens. We're going to talk about that on the other side, Chris, if you don't mind.
The best Chicago Bears content anywhere. Catch Nomad Live pregame 1 hour prior to kickoff and Nomad at Night postgame, and every Friday evening at 7 p.m. Central on all the most popular streaming platforms, and only on the Nomad Network.
That's right, everybody. Please hit the like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and do so also over on Sports Zone Chicago for my guy Shawn Sierra and what they're doing over there. The equal appreciation will be welcome. And you guys are doing a hell of a job, man. Y'all are killing it. We are moving briskly to the direction that we want to go. And that's really just pushing this channel as far out as we can get it. The subs are going crazy. The likes are going crazy. So we got 273 people in here right now in the chat watching live and engaging in the chat. Yeah. There's no telling how many people are out there watching or listening to it on another platform, or just the same platform and just can't chat for whatever reason. You're at work or whatever you're doing. But any of those people, please make sure you stop and give us the subscribe on both channels, man. That would really help us. So we have 271 I'm looking at right now. So if we can get likes, if we can get half of that, if we can get half of that to subscribe and like the channels, that would be tremendous for us. Like I said all the time, if you want us to be one of the big, if you really respect the content, like you say you do, help us get there. Help us be right there next to CHGO, right next door to him, annoying the shit out of him. Because that's what I be doing. Music. I be screeching tires, everything. I be cutting up, letting my dog out on with no leash on him. I be acting up in the neighborhood. Just telling you right now.
Remind me not to move in next door to you.
I'll be cutting grass at 6 o'clock in the morning when you sleep on Saturday, everything.
Anybody here ever see the movie? Anybody see the Richard Pryor moving?
Yes.
Like Sean, I'm like looking at you because like it's your like we're about the same age.
JoJo Dancer. That's man, my granddad.
No, not JoJo Dancer. Moving. It is the best. And why I'm bringing it up is it Randy Quaid plays his next door neighbor in this movie. And Randy Quaid used to do exactly what you're talking about. He used to wake up at 6 a.m. and push his lawnmower. So Richard Pryor gets up and he loses his mind. And he goes next door and he's like, dude, like, what are you doing? It's 6 a.m. Why are you cutting your grass at 6 a.m.? And like straight up now he's doing it just to drive Richard Pryor crazy. Like just to do it. And the cool thing about this movie is the movie's called Moving. Richard Pryor and his family wind up moving to Boise, Idaho. And when they move in, 6 a.m. day one, they hear a dude fire up this crazy lawnmower. So he's like, oh no, I moved from Chicago all the way to Boise, and I still got to deal with this. And he looks across, his neighbor goes running across to meet the new neighbor, and the new neighbor looks exactly like his old neighbor. It's Randy Quaid Part 2. It's his twin brother. And he's like, yeah, my twin brother told me you're moving from Chicago. I didn't really think that you'd be next door to me. I got a brother in Chicago, but we both love a lot. It just jokes, man. One of my favorite Pryor movies, super funny. Pryor fights King Kong Bundy in this movie. You got to watch this movie. Anyway, sorry guys. I want to give some love back to the guys who are giving us some love. Daryl Gibson, thanks for representing.
When you're shouting them out, kids,
post it up.
Put the chat.
Got you. So Daryl Gibson, he says, "What it do? I'm late." And then Daryl Gibson, one more time. We never seen this type of interest and degradation of talent like this before, other than Lamar. And I gotta agree with that. That Lamar Jackson situation was very interesting. He got a bag. I'm not so sure Justin Fields will get a bag, but he'll get something. And if it's just the ability to prove the theory, I think that's worth its weight in
You know
gold.
where, kids, that Daryl Gibson is dead ass right, man. This
Yeah,
is
man.
going along the tracks of exactly what was going on with Lamar Jackson.
It's worse. It's worse than Lamar.
Yeah.
Like, again, maybe we're not, maybe we're not Ravens fans. We don't know how bad it got in Baltimore last year by way of Lamar Jackson, but I think this might trump the whole Lamar Jackson situation. This was just crazy. Like, people who were diehard Bears fans just turned on their quarterback on a dime and decided that he wasn't the guy anymore and I think that's the heights of disloyalty. But I digress. Let's move on to FFG style. My guy FFG, fellas, do you think anyone in the media will praise Poles and the organization for trading the number one pick, building a winner around Justin in Chicago?
There will be. There's a small contingency there.
There won't because it goes against their agenda. Because
the vast majority. You're probably right, Sean. It ain't gonna be that at all.
So I'll give the brass and the media a little bit of shine on this. So what's going to happen, in my opinion, is, yeah, Sean, you're right. They're going to turn around and they're going to spend the next season demonizing Poles and Justin Fields. Like, get ready for that.
Not Poles. They're not doing Poles again. They moved it up to Kevin Warren. They moved it up to Kevin Warren because what happened
was he allowed it to happen. I see what you're saying.
What they're saying
in here arguing, man.
What they're saying is remember they're saying, oh, there's a divide. Remember Ian Rappaport said, oh, there's division in the front office. They're saying Kevin Warren wants Justin Fields, but Poles wants to trade him. So now if they keep him, now all the vitriol is taken off of Poles, because allegedly from Ian Rappaport, who really doesn't know anything. All these guys don't know anything because it's locked down in Hallis Hall, because he took that and said it was Kevin Warren who wants to keep Justin. Everyone say, okay, well, Ryan Poles, you wanted to trade him, we're good. So all the vitriol is going to go right to Kevin Warren.
Okay, that's fair. I know they're going to. They're definitely, like, I can smell the Dan Wiederer stuff coming, right? Like it's going to be around. There will be vitriol, and it will last for the better part of the season. Fact of the matter is, if you've got a playoff team, vitriol just sort of slides downhill. And the odds of them not making the playoffs with a team built around Justin is very slim, guys. We missed it by a game, maybe, and there's 3 games that we should have won this season. I know that we're going to be playing a weak schedule again this year, so it's just as possible that we're able to do similar things this season, but improve on last season's record, given, again, a much stronger team on the field.
Hold on,
yeah, bro.
I could tell Chris must not be available right now because he'd be in this chat, right? I mean, in the show right now, trying to wrestle Sean with his shirt off, because he that's an interesting assessment, Sean.
Why, you want my shirt?
No, he'd be
I
out.
have my Al Bundy shirt, Mother Hubbard.
6. Hey, man, six touchdowns in one game, Sean?
No, 4.
4? Oh, 4.
I don't want to. No need for hyperbole or exaggeration. Just 4.
All right, my bad, kids.
It's been working. It's been working all off season. Why not now?
All right, let them get to some more of these super chats.
All right, so FFG, big ups to you. Thanks for representing with us and rocking as per normal. DJ A Breeze, bruh, you guys bring the real. Big ups to C Sharp, Chris Dub, my guy. So big shout outs to C Dub, C Sharp in the back, making like he ain't listening. We know you're listening, Chris. We love you. Thanks for setting everything up for us. The man, the myth, the legend, Mitch Osborne, representing with us one more time. Had to jump to a work meeting, but did we talk about Connor Williams still being out there? Master Bates, I love it. It's catching on. Master Bates Master Bates as the bridge until Connor is back. The real CW, not
love it.
CW. I actually really like that. This is a great super chat, Mitch. Thanks for representing with us. Yeah, Connor Williams would be a potential upgrade in a big way at center. So my thoughts there is, again, if the Danielle Hunter price tag is just too much for Ryan Poles to really double down at the DN position the way we all speculated, then there will be money to upgrade at other positions, and center is a position of need. So that's not crazy. That's actually really, really interesting to look at, and I think we should probably pay a little, keep a closer eye on the CW situation with Connor Williams.
Kedz is done with
You know what? And it's funny.
Super chat. Hold on. After he's done with the super chats, a little bit of breaking news for the Bears.
Oh, okay.
Well,
What are you saying?
You mentioned that.
Huh?
It's funny,
No,
funny
Keith, sorry, go.
Kids. Oh no problem. Today, Greg Gabriel kind of dropped a little hint that he had spoken with somebody earlier before his show started. That essentially why nobody's heard anything regarding Mr. Hunter is he was waiting to see what Burns would get, and once he saw what Burns is getting, he wants Burns money or better, which is upwards to over 30 mil. So that's the delay regarding him signing with anybody right now. It's that price tag, brother.
All right. Go ahead.
That's the show. Let's move on to my guy, Bink the DJ. Bink the DJ just says how much he loves the show. $5 thrown out to us. Again, thank you very much, Bink. Thanks to all of the Nomaniacs, all of the super chatters, the super Nomaniacs out there representing with us today. Lots of awesome insight, and we'll really see what this defensive end situation has in store for us, because my thoughts here is if that price tag is like, you can't pay Brian Burns money for Danielle Hunter. That's just me. I don't.
No, you can't.
He's a fair amount older. The odds of him staying healthy and being on the field over the next 4 years, we'll just speculate out 4 years, is going to be a questionable situation. So maybe the same type of money for 2 years.
I was going to get.
I'm sure you will. Okay, so go for it. Go for it.
No. I just want to see if you're done with the super chats.
Oh yeah, I'm good. Let's go.
All right, so let's get to the breaking news first. And so, per some of the guys.
Oh, wait a minute.
Okay, we got another super chat.
No, but I got some love for Doug Van Dorn either way. Doug Van Dorn is still super.
You go ahead. Since you talking, you might as well go ahead and read this.
Doug Van Dorn says he's been calling him masturbate since the trade was announced, so he's taking my shine. Doug, we will fight later on over who is the original masturbator.
All right, Doug, you're spinning us out of control right now. I was talking about the breaking news of Brian, and I know you probably can't get to it, but the breaking news is Gerald Everett moved tight end from, I believe, the Rams is his last team. He's just saying Jeremy Fowler is reporting it. I'd like to get some details on that, find out, but that's the piece, one of the pieces we were talking about since we started the off-season programming.
Pull it up.
It was definitely a need. We were going to need a move tight end if we didn't keep what's his name, number 18, Robert Tonyan. Yep. And this is a good move, man. Highly productive tight end, one of the more fluid athletes out of the tight end groups out there. You know what I mean? He's going to be a nice piece, nice addition, and it's going to be interesting to see what Waldron does with his formations and how he plans on using them. We have a decent idea, because I believe J2K did mention that it was an overlap of him being in Seattle at a time when Waldron was there. So I'll go look for some tape and see what I can see on it. But go ahead, Keith. You got something else?
Yeah, per Kevin Fishbane, Everett does reunite with Bears offensive coordinator Shane Waldron. So there we go.
Yeah, so 29 years old, apparently, according to J2K. I like the signing, man. I really do, man. It's I was hoping for Noah Fant, but this is an even more agile and mobile piece right here. Noah Fant's pretty good.
Agile, hostile, mobile.
I mean, he's what
win now. Want. It's a win now signing. You're right, J2K. It's a win now signing, brother.
So if you guys want to get to the so you guys got a little jump on the Danielle Hunter signing. Here's what I think I heard. This was probably towards the end of the season. I was getting a jump on some of these guys that might be potentially free agents. This is probably about week 15 or so like that I started. And there was, I believe I remember him being on a podcast or a reporter interviewing him or something like that. And I think it was a local media person in Minnesota. And they were asking the question and kind of framing it like, what will you be asking for? Will you try to break the bank? Will you try to do this? And he was like, no, I'm not gonna try to do that. It'd be nice to get as much as I can, but I'm realistic. I'm not gonna try to. And he was going down that line of conversation. Now hearing what reportedly Greg Gabriel, I don't know what his source is, but that I don't know that matches up with what I heard him say. You know what I'm saying? So if he is holding out to get a better contract than Brian Burns, who could blame him? You know what I mean? What Poles will do and how he will respond to that. I think, fellas, and you guys can tell me what you think. I think that's why it's been very little information and news coming out of Hallis Hall recently. I think because that has been, I think that's the log jam kind of stopping everything else from happening.
So you're saying the Burns situation is the logjam?
No, the Neil Hunter.
Okay, well, that most definitely.
I believe they might be pursuing him, but that might be the logjam of everything else. The dominoes falling after that.
It is, because I think they've cleared out most of the teams that were vying for his services. The slight exception there is the one team that you want to protect him from, right? Like, and that's Detroit. Like, Detroit could still make this type of move. So Don Burr, Brad Holmes, Jahmyr Gibbs, wherever you are, big ups to you. But yeah, if Detroit makes a move for him, that could be a bit of a problem. But I'm from a logjam perspective, I'm just a little bit more worried that some of the key sub players, if you will, under players, AJ Espinosa, et cetera, at that position are starting to eke out and sign deals. So I think Poles has got to come to a bit of a decision with this one quickly, although maybe he's sort of cornered the market by way of dollars and cents. If nobody else is willing to pay that type of money for him, he might just be negotiating with Ryan Poles alone.
There's a question. Somebody, if anybody wants to answer that, I'll put it back up.
OBJ was on recent Rams Super Bowl team with new passing game coordinator Thomas Brown. Would Bears consider Beckham? Read, he became a leader to young Baltimore wide receivers. Nah. That's my 2 cents on it. I think Odell Beckham has seen better days as a football player. I'm not sure if he's got much left in the tank. Maybe I'm wrong. And he had the opportunity to really prove me wrong last year with a stellar squad in Baltimore. And not all that much happened for OBJ. I thought OBJ was going to actually have a breakout season last season, and I don't believe he did. For him to come back with another team and really have a potential breakout season is not impossible, but I feel it's a little bit improbable. What about you guys?
Yeah. Mad ups and mad respect for OBJ.
Yeah.
I don't see him, if he signs with anybody, I don't see him signing with anybody other than returning back to Baltimore. Honestly. Only because, you're talking about a guy that has, very little, if any, ACL left in both knees. So at this point, man, he's pretty much, wherever he goes, they got to be really close to being a contender, and other than that, I see maybe that Derrick Henry signing might lean him more towards saying, hey, look, you know what? I give you guys a really good deal. Let's see if we can run it back with Baltimore. But other than that, this could be it for OBJ. He might be getting ready to say, you know what? Hey, it's been swell, but I'm good.
So
we don't really need OBJ. You know what? There's far too many receivers in this draft. Far too many. Talent wise, we can still probably get another guy. I just think his time has come and gone. Father Time is undefeated, and when you have injuries and things of that nature, the finite, the end of your career comes a lot sooner. And if he can play one more year, cool. But I don't know if I'd want him here. I think we have a lot of young guys who we can draft, who would really be hungrier. All right, more explosive. Hold on, and nothing bad. I don't have any ill will toward OBJ by any stretch. So, but I just think that the best option would be, grab someone else.
So real quick, let's speak to that Victor Perez quote here. Gerald Everett, shout out to Victor Perez. Thanks for doing the research. 2 years, $12 million, Gerald Everett. base value deal with a max value up to $14 million. That includes 6.1 guaranteed. That's per Adam Schefter. That's a I like that deal. I mean,
Good deal, bro.
yeah, I love that
Deal.
deal. I wanted to speak about Odell Beckham. Now, I'm not gonna raise too much speculation, but would it surprise me? And would Odell Beckham be willing to come here for what's probably cheaper than his market value? It depends. I didn't see any way, shape, or form that he would end up in Baltimore of all places with Lamar Jackson. I didn't think that would happen. If you asked me that before it happened, I said not in a million years he's going to play with Lamar Jackson. No.
Let me give you guys something real quick. Apparently, and I don't know if we even touched on this, you guys might have, but because of the uncertainty over the Bears quarterback situation and how everything, there is no information coming out of Halas Hall. That's why they're having some issues getting a wide receiver. Apparently, they made an offer to Gabe Davis that was similar as the Jags offer, and he chose to go with the Jags. Just too much uncertainty over the Bears situation right
How do you know? Is this confirmed or is this what you know what I mean? Like, how do you know that?
That's true.
Per Clay Harbor.
I checked him out. I checked that out last night, and he was talking to somebody. I can't remember whether it was a reporter or somebody doing a podcast, and he was just like, he was on some other stuff talking about, Florida is a tax-free state, and he's from down there, and that was more or less the deal. More than anything, that's what he was saying to somebody.
Mm-hmm. I could agree with that, but overall, we haven't. Mooney left. He got money. There's some questions over, what direction the Bears are going to go as far as quarterback, and I think that's the downside of the tight cap on Halas Hall. No info coming out is that there's some uncertainty on what's going to happen. So we'll see.
What's the Danielle Hunter news? I think DJ Breeze, he must be talking about the dollar amount that we were talking about he might be asking for top dollar. I think that's what he's
like. I would, I would ask for top dollar too, but the expectation is you get just something a little bit less than that, and away you go. He is a premier pass rusher, especially in this year's free agency market, but I just don't see him getting Brian Burns money. Brian Burns, again, is much younger. Longevity is there, baked in with that $150 million contract. We're talking about a mercenary contract for a guy who's likely only going to, like, if he's here for if we get him and he's here for 3 years, I'll be very surprised.
A 3-year deal is not that big. A 3-year deal, you're front loaded. He's gone after 2. You're fine.
Yeah.
And that's, but you're not. I don't. He's definitely not worth $30 million. Not at his age, and he's got to understand that. And if someone wants to give it to him, Godspeed. Go with God, bro. I'm cool with you. Hey, congratulations. You like Darnell Mooney. Like Darnell Mooney would have. I'll kick your coverage on this one, and more power to you. I ain't mad at you, but definitely not going to do that. I don't think it's feasible. 25 million, 30, 25 million maybe. Man, but you just get up to that 30. Anything more than that is 25 for me is the absolute maximum that I would personally I would stretch. Well, right, but let's be honest. Let's look. Ryan Poles hasn't. He's done a great job, and someone put this in the chat too. He's done a great job sticking to his plan and not overpaying. He's not going to overpay people. And if you lose him to somebody, hey, okay, that's still he's got a budget that he's sticking to. He's got and damn be you, the hell with you, the hell with you, the hell with you, the hell with anyone who thinks they're worth more and wants more. He's not coming on. He's staying within his budget, within his means. He can go get some other players who might not be as good, but they can be fairly productive.
Well, look at it this way too, man. Why would he just signed Sweat? He when he traded for Sweat, he redid Sweat's contract. You cannot bring in Danielle Hunter and pay him more than Sweat.
Yes, you can. It happens every year.
No, you can't. No, you can't.
Every year comes in. Every year it goes up, bro. Every year it's called inflation. Every year it goes up.
I get it, Shawn. But what you do is you can cause a discord with that player that basically
Who's the leader?
told,
Who's the
who
defensive leader in the locker
told
room right now?
is that guy for your defensive line. Okay, you cause a discord with him as well as you can cause a discord in your locker room. I get it. Now you can pay them equally. You can pay them equally, but to come in and say, okay, I'm finna give this cat 30+ mil, but yet I went after this guy. I wanted this guy. No,
He's not giving 30 mil.
I think Montez is more humble than that.
I know he's not getting 30 mil, but the whole point is you don't want to even attempt to try to do that. If anything, I can give you equal money to what I'm giving Sweat, and let's make it work. You know what I'm saying? Let's roll with it. I'm just talking from a business standpoint.
I understand.
Having negotiated contracts, I'm telling you, bro, you can't do that.
I'm telling you, there's inflation, and every year someone's gonna want to reset the market, and that's the situation. So you could.
Well, I'm not resetting with them.
Okay, well, that's cool. But I'm just saying, but you can't say that you can't do it. Of course you can. And I don't think the repercussion that you think would happen would happen. I don't think so, because as players, they understand that. Players understand it's all about timing. When you come out, when your contract is up, you know what?
We will
if
agree
you give your
to
contract,
disagree on
we
this
will
one,
then.
brother.
Then we'll agree to disagree. But every year, the price of yesterday's price is not today's price.
Yeah, I agree with that, Sean. I'm not trying to pick sides here, but I agree with that. You know what happened yesterday.
That's okay, bro. That's okay.
Well, let me.
I negotiate contracts for a living, so I'm just telling you, brother.
Hey, Keith,
I'm telling you,
man, that's all right.
That's not gonna
have
happen.
a different opinion, man. The thing is this, man. He is absolutely right. What happened yesterday has nothing to do with today, and I believe that. And I want to say this, and I think I don't think whatsoever. I think Montez Sweat comes off to me as quite a bit more humble than we might imagine, and I don't think he would receive it that way. You know, if somebody got a couple more $1 million than him,
man. Look,
of course,
yeah. Let me reverse this on you here first.
I don't think.
I'm only getting 96 million.
I don't think it would be the shot to the heart that you guys might think it would be.
So here's where we are. We're gonna look at this like a business for a second. I'm right there with you, Keith. And if I'm the top sales guy in my business, I'm making 80 grand a year, and Jeff, the sales guy, just joins the team. He's making 120 grand a year, and unfortunately is not doing what I'm doing.
Now you're adding that though. You
I'm selling, I'm gonna get in my feelings, bro. That's just it. I'm gonna start to say, wait a minute.
How can you add that? How can you add that? You're like, well, he's not doing because that contract. What do you mean? What do you mean? What do I mean?
Let him finish now.
You added that. Well, what if he's not doing it? Well, you're not gonna know whether he's doing it until after he gets paid. You're not.
Time is relative here, right? So if I'm just talking about the dollars and cents. Initially, both of you guys are probably right that it won't have any sort of effect on him initially. But over time, if I'm sitting at one end of that defensive line looking at the other end going, man, this dude getting paid like $8 million a year more than I am, and he's doing half the work I'm doing, that's some BS. And like I'm gonna put something else out there. And like at some point, TJ Edwards is gonna say this. At some point, I'm gonna say like maybe in a year and a half. He's gonna step up and go, hey man, it's 2 years now. I'm holding down court, but Terrell making all the money. What's up? We need to get back to the table and do some and crunch numbers again, because I'm the guy who's getting the tackles. I'm the guy who's actually who's holding the fort down. Why is he getting all the money? Like it's an emotional thing, especially when it comes to folks. You know, men are not generally looked at as emotional beings. I'm going to tell you something about men across the board. When it comes to money, yo, we just might get in our feelings.
When it comes to money, we get in our feelings, brother. Trust me.
That's what it is.
When it comes to money, we get in our feelings.
Man, look, true. I wanted to make this clear to everybody. It's not like two things can't be true at the same time. You know what I'm saying? It's not like, both arguments can be relevant at the same time.
They're all valid, for sure.
One is more right than one is more wrong. It don't make a damn difference, because every last one of us is speculating. We don't know what the hell is going on inside there. My point is, I think that, depending on what actually happens, if it goes along the line of, we end up having to give Daniil Hunter a little bit more than Montez Sweat, I don't think it'd be the harpoon to the heart you guys think. I think Montez Sweat kind of knows this. It's just business. You know what I mean? And what happened yesterday isn't necessarily relevant to today. And so, before we get into all the scrapping and scraping about the whole thing, it's worth having a conversation about, because that's what the show is. It's about talking about what might happen and what might not happen. And we're in the weeds right now. Tall weeds.
Yes, we are.
We do not know exactly what's going on, and we have our opinions, and that's the end of that. But we should look at that list of receivers, Chris, if you have that, Chris. You there, Chris? There we go.
Oh.
All right. So
Chris taking a nap.
If you like just based off of just kids, just circle a guy. How about that? We just circle one guy. Everybody circles a guy, and we'll come back and talk about it. And just leave it that. Make it that simple. Just circle a guy that you would highlight.
On this list, man, Curtis Samuel, that's my guy.
Okay. Keith.
It's a good one.
Oh, I got another guy, but I'll let both of y'all go. You know what? While Keith's looking.
I'm with you, Kedz. No, Kedz, I'm with you. Curtis Samuel.
With Curtis Samuel, my second guy is Noah Brown. And Noah Brown will probably come at a real decent price tag.
Yeah.
I think what we learned in Texas last year was that they can draft wide receivers. I think that's what the moral of the story might have been. I'm not trying to take anything away from CJ Stroud, but those wide receivers were not expected to perform the way that they did. Like, that's just facts of the matter. And Tank Dell got hurt. And even after Tank Dell got hurt, Nico and Noah took care of business over there. So I would be, if we're talking, what's Noah Brown? Wow, 2.6 million. I'd do that for Noah Brown. I think, in my opinion, Noah Brown would be a viable replacement for Darnell Mooney at that price tag for sure.
Go ahead, Keith.
Agree. I agree with Kedz on this one completely. We're both on the same page, man. Absolutely.
Right. Go ahead, Shawn.
Hey, take that comment out so I can see the bottom of that list, please.
Boom.
Quez Watkins way down there, man.
Yeah, all the way down there. Jalen Rieger's down there too.
We get to talk about several of them, but just
I'll just pick one. I'll get a guy a little higher up, and that's all right. We'll just go because I for some reason I don't know why I like Jalen Rieger.
You like him?
I don't know either.
I have no idea. Maybe he's my N'Keal Harry from this year.
He's a nice.
He would be. He would be actually.
So what I'm telling you. So you going with Jalen Rieger?
Yeah, I'll go with Jalen Rieger.
Right.
That's my final answer.
I got I got two guys in my head for two different reasons. I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna pick one, but I'm gonna tell you it's two guys that stick out to me. One, I think Darnell was considered our X as of right now, and I think there's a hole at slot receiver and at X. And so what the Bears are thinking has me on a two-track mind. It would be Tyler Boyd, and it would be what's his name? Donovan Peoples-Jones. But I'm gonna stay with Donovan Peoples-Jones because I think they need the X more than they need the slot receiver because we have Tyler Scott. And so my guy would be you could take that down, Chris, for a minute. So my guy would be right now, it would be because we have a big glaring need at X, and Darnell Mooney kind of played that position this year for us because Claypool wasn't here. I would say the X is the biggest need, and it would be Donovan Peoples-Jones for me because he's a bigger receiver. So let's talk about, hey kids, let's talk about some of the other guys and why after I just said that. Does that make sense to you?
It does positionally, actually. It does make sense, those two guys.
Rieger signed with the Patriots, J2K is saying.
Thanks, J2K. I was hoping that wasn't, you know what I'm saying? He would have been, I think if I'm right, he's in the same draft as N'Keal Harry, and I think he was picked before him and just also didn't quite pan out, I think. Like nothing to take away from Jalen Reagor. He's a good wide receiver, but it hasn't worked out. If we're getting him on the cheap, perhaps.
You seeing this kid?
Oh, somebody said Noah Brown signed? Yeah, I'm not surprised by them re-signing Noah Brown. Not surprised at all. Just makes sense. He played really well last year, and there was no expectation of that happening. When Tank Dell went down, they were sort of saying, okay, we have our one and we have wide receivers 1 and 2 in Tank and Nico Collins. And Noah Brown just held down that wide receiver 3 position all season long. So I was quite impressed. If he was available at that price tag, I'd do it, but looks like they thought the same in Texas. So much for that idea. But yeah.
Well, it looks like we're going to get a young guy, a young kid, a young player anyway.
Speaking of that, so for those of you who did watch the 1920 football drive, there's a scene where Ryan Poles stops and he looks up and he goes, "Man, I love that kid." And Flus looks at him and goes something to the effect of, "Yeah, I like him too."
And he said, "Give me 2
and
of
then
them."
He goes, "Let's get 2 of them. You got it. Let's draft 2 of them." I'm pretty sure we're talking about the wide receiver position. I'm really not sure what other position you could be talking about at that particular time. I think it's a wide receiver. I think maybe they were talking about Dunze and or Worthy. I would love to see both those guys on the squad, but that's my 2 cents.
I got another name for you guys that might be interesting. It'd be a close third to me, and that would be Josh Reynolds from Detroit. What do you guys think? You saw what he was able to do.
Reynolds would work. Yeah, Reynolds, like, man, I hate those other Detroit wide receivers, but Reynolds would work, man. Reynolds is sort of he was a go-to guy for them outside of Amon-Ra St. Brown and outside of Jameson Williams, I believe is the name. I'm screwing up. In any event, he was pretty good. He's got some really decent speed. He's got breakaway speed, tall enough to potentially play as an X, I think. I wouldn't at the right price tag, I think that's a good look too.
So yeah, I think there's a lot of options out there, but I believe there's only been limited movement. I think the Bears probably wanted to move a little bit more briskly than this, but I believe that they are making a serious play at Danielle Hunter, because I don't see why they wouldn't. To get that guy in the building and to keep other teams that you might have to compete against from getting them, it just makes all kinds of sense to me, man. And I think we should. It's surprising that he's still there, but not surprising at the same time, given what we're hearing about the dollar amount that he could be requiring. That's going to take a little time to get that negotiated the right way. It could be just, okay, we can pay you this, but how can we structure this in a way that it doesn't cripple us at a certain point in time? And that's all in the language of the contract. It could be, the big deal now is front-loaded contracts. But how does that work? I'm not that educated on a whole lot of contract situations, but I can tell you from experience of watching enough football and watching news that is the way the trend is going. It ends up being, how much can I get pushed in front of me right now? And so maybe that's the snag.
Not for the Bears. Like, we're gonna encourage front-loaded contracts because it allows us to pay whoever that quarterback is in the next 2 years. Like, that's really what that avails. It just allows them to say, hey, here you go. Here's guaranteed money. It entices the player to sign with us as well. But that's really what we're guaranteeing you. We might not keep you beyond the guaranteed money if we need to clear the books to pay for a quarterback, given whoever he might be. It's the opposite. It's just the opposite of it. Like, it's the exact opposite of the way that Ryan Pace went to market. Pace went to market pushing dollars and cents in payment down the road, and there's always a price tag associated with that, to the level that Ryan Poles had to get rid of and flush out half the roster. This way around, if Ryan Poles is actually fired in 3 years, they can probably still retain the better part of the roster because everybody's already been paid.
Yeah, but a 3-year deal for him is perfect. Cut him after 2, and I'm sure that he's talked about it. Like we're probably going to cut you after 2, which is why we're going to give you most of your money up front. Because at that particular point, the salary cap projected next year is already $30 million, so it's going to be jump up to about 180 plus. All right, it's going to jump up after that the following year. So after those, so the second year jumps up, you could cut him, and now you just create a lot of space for his, with his contract. So but again, I just don't think that Ryan Poles is just, he's very adamant, he's very disciplined, and I don't think he's going to give Danielle Hunter, who's 30 years old, that kind of money. 26, 27, different story. 30, I don't think he's going that route. And he's saying, hey, listen, here's what we can do, but I'm not giving you that much. That's I think.
I don't think, man. I think he's for one proved everybody wrong that we won't sign a player 30 years old. He's proved us wrong there. So he just made a precedent to do that. And
but he didn't pay them. He didn't pay them like league-setting numbers, though. Like that's what has to be taken into consideration. It's the age and the contract, not one or the other. If you follow me.
Okay. Well, Shawn, you getting a personal question?
Well, I definitely think they're drafting an edge.
If you want to read it out loud, just for
it says, "Hey, very good. I forgot about them. Hey, Shawn Sierra, what do you think of the Bears potentially signing Hunter and drafting a player like Nealand later in the draft?" Well, that's from my man Jose Sanchez down in Puerto Rico, if I'm not mistaken. Puerto Rico, hey, Boricua, todo está you know what? I think they're going to draft an edge. Period. Are they going to want to spend that money on him, on Danielle Hunter? That's the only issue. But I do think it makes tons of sense to get a veteran in here and a rookie and draft. Danielle Hunter, I just don't know, man. If he's not coming off very much of that $30 million a year, I don't think that. I mean, Ryan Poles, yeah, I agree with you, Nomad. He signed a couple of 29-year-old people, maybe even a 30. I forgot who. But it's not, like Kedz said, it's not to that big time deal. It's not to 25, 30 mil a year. And I don't know the age and the amount. I think if it's one or the other, yeah, but both of those things combined, I don't know.
Because now I'm going to double down on it. So like with a Danielle Hunter, you would have to give him the opposite type of contract. Like if he wants 30 mil, you're not going to front load that. You're going to backload that so you don't have to pay the big money when he eventually gets hurt at his age, right? So that might be an issue too. He might be expecting a big guaranteed money along with this contract where Ryan Poles is like, bro, I can't really guarantee X amount up front with the odds of you getting hurt this high at your age. That just doesn't make any sense for me. How do we make this work out? So, now that we've sort of gone around on this a little bit, I think we may be waiting a couple more days for the Danielle Hunter signing to actually occur.
Kedz, I'm gonna let you get to those super chats here in a second.
Yes, sir.
I think that's conveniently the first thing people attach themselves to as far as how to shape why they don't think Poles will do it will be to look at that age. And I was trying to say this yesterday. I don't think, especially someone of his stature and the way he's playing, man. That guy, he's something else, man. He's built like something else too. And the wear and tear, I don't see. 30 years old or not, man. I think I'm not saying that Shawn is wrong or anybody else is wrong for hanging on to that. But for me, in my mind, I just don't know that, these people that are evaluating the situation you can use that for sure as a negotiation tactic and try to drive down the price. No question about that at all. But I don't think the true devaluation of him has anything to do with him being 30 at all. And when you look at the tape, it just
but I can hear you. But you look at look at what happened to Robert Quinn. All right. He led the Bears. He led the Bears in sacks, and then the next year. So and because he was at that age, So he might say, "Hey, wow," because I mean that's literally right up in your face. That's you know what I mean? That's firsthand knowledge, firsthand. So that's why that age is the issue, in my opinion.
All right. Well, we're gonna let kids get to the super chats. We'll get back to the subject. And Keith,
All right.
Something's going on with your. I don't know if you're on mute or not. Say.
Yeah, he's on mute.
Yeah, I
He's
was.
on mute.
I was. Sorry about that. Me and the mute button. But no, what I was going to say too.
Let's do the super chats, and we're gonna come right back to you on the other side.
You do this
Bring
to
it
me every
back to
time.
you.
I lose my train of thought, brother.
Okay, go ahead, man.
Write it down.
Go ahead.
There you go.
No,
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
We need to get you
I
a
was
notebook
thinking of
too.
this. Yeah, I need it. Yeah, I do. And some Ginkoba as well. But no, think of it this way too. Maybe we haven't heard anything because maybe it's not just necessarily Daniil Hunter. You know, Armstead is still out there too. So it's a possibility, man. And to circle the wagon really quickly, when they was at the combine, it was reported by somebody. I'm going to keep that person nameless. That during that particular time when that statement was made about let's get two of them, that was during the defensive lineman and linebackers workout. So,
well, I saw someone else who said it was a wide receivers thing. So I don't know. We don't know for sure who it was. How can you tell me no when I'm telling you what I heard?
I'm just saying I'm not saying no that I disagree with you. It's very possible.
Okay.
I'm not saying that at all, Sean. I'm just saying, you know. And then what I did, I went back, and it was during the D line and the linebackers workout.
How do you? But here's the thing.
Because of what Poles had on that day. It was what he had on that day. That's
so I've heard this argument too. I still think it's a wide receiver, but I'll just shut up on that. Hey, let me get to some of these chats, and here's a not so super chat, but it's from our guy Barlissimo. Question for the panel and the chat: is the second rounder that Poles got from the Panthers from the trade last year likely to be the 32nd pick next year? 33rd, sorry, next year. Panthers legit turning into the NFL The Office, which is super funny if you guys sort of think about this situation.
That's why I didn't get that. I don't know nothing about The Office.
You don't watch? Oh, come on now. Basically, this is you neither. Oh wow, preaching to the anyhow. So here's The Office in a nutshell. They all work for a paper company in the 2000s. That's all you really need to know. They're trying to sell paper in the 2000s. And I just cracked a joke about both these two brothers needing a notepad. The reality is ain't nobody need a notepad or paper for the most part, period, since the invention of the computer. So I digress.
Yeah, we can't type on our computer and save a message. That's why we need a notepad or index cards. So I got mine. So I don't have brain farts like I did yesterday. Was it 3 times that I forgot it?
All right, I'm gonna school you on Google Keep later on, Sean. Just write that down in your notepad.
All right.
So moving on to Victor Perez, $10 super chat. You guys are awesome. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Victor.
What up, Vic?
What's up, Vic? Thanks for repping. Our guy Knox Corbett. This is like hanging out at the best barbershop. You know what, Knox? Me and Nomad been chopping it up for a while, talking about, you know what, maybe we should change the setting for this whole show and have it in a barbershop. We've been workshopping that idea for a while, but thanks for pointing it out. We appreciate it. We will keep workshopping.
Sometimes
it does. It works out very well. Our guy Daryl Gibson back again, $2. That's why you trade down and get Verse. And you know what? Yeah, I'm super with that idea. I'm also interested in a guy like Adiza Isaac a little bit later on, if that's what they wind up doing, if they get somebody like Hunter in front of them. So, fingers crossed. All I'm trying to say is we need more picks to do all these things. We need more picks.
Can we pause for 1 second?
Always.
Because Junior is airing Sean out in the chat. He said Sean, and I would have never guessed this in a million years. Junior said Sean is a Seinfeld geek.
Oh, hell yeah.
I am too.
Really?
Oh, hell yeah. That's you know what? My favorite show of all time was Married with Children. Okay. And then I got
I got you, right? Hence the poke high. I'm right there with you.
Okay. And then what happened is here in Chicago, Seinfeld was on at 6:30 and at 10:30. and each time slot was sequential. So 631 was like, say it was season 2, so they were going season 2, episode 1, boom, boom, boom. But at 1030 could have been season 4, episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. So I was able to catch up on that, on the whole episode, the whole series. Okay, I was able to double it up. Remember, these are weekly shows, so you get them every day. That's 10 shows a week, and man, and it's the most brilliant idea ever. Even when people say it's stupid, I'm like, no, it's not, because it's literally the same stuff that we do every single freaking day. And he made a show about it, the show about nothing, which is awesome. And Junior, and then leave it to Junior. He busts balls all the time.
Hey, I'm right there with you. Some of the characters on that honestly, George, I've learned so many things about work from George Costanza, innumerable amounts of things. And I suggest everybody pays a little bit of attention to George Costanza. Just the furrowed brow. The furrowed brow is the best one. And you just look upset when your boss comes to check on you. Just man,
act like you get angry.
I'm overwhelmed.
I'm good.
Okay, we'll leave you alone. And his boss leaves. So like,
when you look angry or upset, people leave you alone.
He'll leave you alone. Little genius tricks like that. Anyways,
Junior, I appreciate you. I'm gonna let you go, kids. Appreciate you. He got his son to go subscribe, man. Appreciate you, Junior.
Oh, respect there, Junior. Always respect and love for Armando and Patty. Moving on to our guy, Mitch, with another $20. Mitch Osborne. We should do a cap space check-in after the Everett signing. I'd rather have Connor Williams plus Chase Young, I can dig it, than overpaying for Hunter. If we get a future first, we got to look at the DE class next year. Still space for a wide receiver?
That's
yeah, that's a great comment, Mitch. So around the block. I wouldn't be mad, and this is what I was saying, like really, it's kind of what I've been saying. I wouldn't be mad with a Connor Williams and Chase Young. I didn't really focus on Connor Williams, but Chase Young at a more cost-effective case scenario, I think he brings a lot of upside if you can get him for somewhere in and around 15 mil. I think that works. He's got experience working with the other guy on the other side, and he's been in a leadership perspective, a leader on a defense that was led, on a team that was led by Justin Fields. So there's some synergy there. It's really about dollars and cents. And if you can couple those dollars and cents with a high caliber center, I like it.
Frankly, that could be a plan B, actually.
And throw in Eric Armstead on top of that. Now you got a 3-tech too, right? So it all depends on how this stuff shakes out, but I see where your head is here, Mitch, and I like it. I'm just a little, I'm not sure if there will be space for a wide receiver at the end of those types of moves. That's just me. And we got one last one, but it ain't a super. It's super because we think Doug Van Dorn.
We did get one. We got a $5 one up there in the corner.
Oh, there's another $5. I'll come down to Donnie Sparks in a second. So Doug Van Dorn's asking, speak of wide receivers in the draft. Do y'all think that Xavier Worthy's 40 time makes him that much more attractive, or would you rather see us draft Leggett or Rice or Cowan or McCaffrey? So, me personally, and I'm going to throw this is a great question, Doug. Me personally, I identified Xavier Worthy very early as one of my favorite wide receivers in this draft, well before he ran that 40 time. That being the case, if we can secure an X receiver, whether it is a Brian Thomas Jr., MHJ, a specific X receiver, I would love if we got our hands on Worthy, and the reason being is his special teams abilities is astronomical on top of his ability to separate. It would make for some it would make our offense very dangerous. Now we've just got an absolute burner. We've got a number one skill receiver in DJ Moore, and now you got an X receiver too in Dunze, MHJ, Brian Thomas. That's how I look at it, and I think that's a fair amount better. Now I will double down on Xavier Legette. Xavier Legette could serve as an X. He separates very well too, and he also brings special teams value. So, like, if I was drafting and Xavier Worthy disappears off the board, I'm definitely looking for Legette. He's my number 2, and after the first one, so he's my number 3 receiver realistically. And then Rice, Cowing, McCaffrey. If I was only able to secure one of those top wide receivers that I just outlined, then yes, I'd be looking at Rice, Cowan, and McCaffrey, but only after the second round when I've determined whether whether I could or could not draft 2 wide receivers between the first and the early third.
All right, let's get to that last super, and then we're gonna get ready to wrap this thing up and get up out of here.
Donnie Sparks, just showing some love. Appreciate you guys. Keep it coming. We'll do it every day for you, except for Saturdays.
Put it up for him. There you
go. Except for Saturdays, I like to indulge in alcoholism on Saturdays, so leave me alone.
So Bellissimo is saying Kenny Moore got re-signed for the coach, 3 years, 34. Hey, but shout out to Donnie Sparks, man. Appreciate the love, bro.
And the Bills re-signed Epinesa.
Yeah, that was yesterday, I think.
That was yesterday. I caught that. So unfortunately, he's off the market for us. But there's moves that could be made. Kid Piccolo in the chat. What up, Kid Piccolo? I'm a huge Dragon Ball Z fan. Just giving you some love, knowing where you're.
Let's not forget, just because we still have holes doesn't mean everything's going to get filled this year. All right, we can get a gap.
Well, we still got
let's not. I understand. What I'm saying is, if the DN class, which is projected to be heavy and I should say strong next year, then you can wait. You can get a stopgap, a bridge defensive end on one side. Okay, draft a young guy this year. Okay, see how he develops, but then you can also wait next year. And when we trade that number 1 pick, we're going to have an extra draft pick. We're going to have 2 first-round draft picks next year. So we can go offensive tackle. We can go 3 tech. We can go edge rusher. So we may be able to get one of the top players at edge rusher, offensive tackle, or 3 tech next year, with this year being a bridge year in those positions. So we don't have to. I know we all want to. Oh, let's get that. Let's go. Oh, we missed. That's okay. It's okay. It's falling exactly the way it's supposed to for us. All right. Ryanpoles has a plan. He's sticking to it. He's not deviating from it. And I trust Poles. I really do. I trust the way he's gotten us to this point. He's swung, he's missed. It hasn't stopped him from swinging again, which got us sweat. I trust this guy. All right, I trust this guy. I just think we just now if we can't get one of the studs, if what's his name, Daniil Hunter wants 150 million for this year. Yeah, sorry, homie, a little out of the range, and keep it moving. We'll go get another dude. I said just a bridge. So it's just fun. I know it's fun. Like, let's get him. Go ahead. I think it's all right. We're moving. We don't need to take a big jump. We're moving. We're definitely moving forward. And I'm looking forward to seeing how he fills these gaps. Because remember, you don't need a stud on that side. You just need someone decent or good. Because you got Sweat on one side. You have Javon Dexter, who we feel is going to take a big step in improvement this year. And you got Billings. You got 3/4 of that offensive line. And as I told you, how many people can you double team? How many people? You only got 5 offensive linemen. Let's keep a tight end, and that's taking a guy out of the route. So I think an average to a veteran. Here's a veteran who can set the edge is probably what we're going to end up getting this year as a bridge guy and then a rookie guy. So it'll be fine.
So let me. I'm gonna answer one last question, and we're gonna go around the horn and get a few pleasantries and get about. I think Jose Sanchez in Puerto Rico wants to know what do we think about Tez Walker and grabbing him a little bit later on, Devontae Walker from North Carolina, picking him up later on. So we profile him. I don't know if you were on that show. Apparently not, Jose. Man, you got to tune in more often, Jack. And you would have known that we profiled him when we did the receiver group. So anybody that wants to know what we thought about the receiver class in this draft, go ahead and look back at that show. I think it was probably a little over a month ago. We did that, I think, kids, right?
Oh man, I couldn't. Been a couple of weeks now. Yeah, probably about a month, maybe a month and a half.
About a month ago, we did that. So when we did it, I think fairly highly of them. Kids and Samo and those guys didn't think as much of them. They thought some other receivers should have.
I disagree.
Instead of Tez Walker, but I think he's pretty good. He reminds me of T. Higgins, is what he is.
So what I'll say is that Nomad identified him for me. I wasn't checking him before you did, and after looking at him, same token, looking at the tape, I felt, I didn't feel that he jumped out at me on the tape. What I am going to say is he definitely made his impression felt at the combine, and I really liked what he did. There wasn't, like, I'll be completely frank here, there wasn't a lot of wide receivers who jumped out at the combine this season, for me, in my opinion. The guys that I believe really jumped out and made a name for themselves, Tez Walker is top three. I think Romo Dunze made a lot of noise for himself. I think Xavier Worthy made a lot more noise for himself with that 40 time. And outside of those two, I think two more. Brian Thomas Jr., that's the next guy who really jumped out at me. And then Tez Walker as like a very similar skill set to Brian Thomas Jr., maybe a little bit slower. I think he's a very solid X-type receiver, man. I would put him ahead of the three guys that I was just asked about, to be honest with you. I'd put him ahead of Rice, Cowing, and McCaffrey.
Okay, we got one more super chat. The biggest donation of the day comes from...
Oh, my God, Smitty.
Smitty, my boy, Smitty. Look out, dog. Appreciate that, man. Love.
No comment, just support. That's just pure love from the heart of Smitty. Right from the heart of Smitty. From our heart back out to yours, Smitty. We appreciate it. Thanks for coming out, my brother. We appreciate it, man. That's awesome.
Man, appreciate it, Smitty, man. While you talking, man, we right here at wrapping it up and going around the horn, kid. You want to get those pleasantries out?
Sure, man. Geez. This chat is starting to be just an insane thing. So I want to try to give some love to some of the folks I'm starting to see, to all the regular No Maniacs like my guys Plank and Cornelius Squalls and J2K and Notorious TBG. I'm going to leave you guys alone. And even Leonidas, I'll leave you guys alone today. You guys are pretty much regulars on the show. We see you week in, week out. But there's some other folks like Knox Corbett, again, relatively new, banging us with super chats for the last couple of days. We really appreciate that, Knox. Thanks for coming out. Victor Tangent. Victor, thanks for coming out and representing with us. Muck, I'm going to give you love just for a second here, but you know you're an OG. Richard Long, Andre Miguel, Florida Bears fan, FLA Bears fan, be yourself. Who else is out there? So many new. Debo. I'm going to give some love to Yada Zakwa just because, again, you're a regular Yada. Double X Sweetness, Double X 34. Who else is out there? Pepe Silva. So many. Bradley Remy. Man, I want to go through all of these guys just to give you guys some love. WC Brandt, Slick Sophistication, and Kid Piccolo, I brought you up earlier. Jose Sanchez, we gave you some love. DJ Trackmatic, all the DJs that are out there. There are a couple of DJs watching us today, which is super cool. Joseph Batuzak, man, I could go on all day, but the amount of love that we're feeling over here is really impressed. It's really impressive, and I want to show as much of it back to you guys as I can. Thank you, No Maniacs. Thanks for hanging out with us. Bear down one more again.
Appreciate
Keith.
that. Appreciate that.
Same here to our No Maniacs and our sports zoners. Thank you very much for always chiming in the spirited debate in the chat. I love it. As well as on the panel. We're free thinkers, man. So don't ever think that because you may hear us debating that, because you're not going to always agree. And it's okay to agree to disagree at times as well, and that's both with us on the panel as well as in the chat, and to those that always shout me out in the chat, I see it, I recognize it, and mad respect and love to you guys. You guys know who you are. Thank you very much. to my man Shawn, Kedz, Nomad, Chris in the back, Brian in the back, Nick in the back at times. Man, as always, it's nothing but love. I love chopping it up, talking about bear football. You know, I'm gonna leave you guys with this today. Let's go, dog. Do you smell what Poles is cooking? That gumbo is smelling good right now.
Smells like gumbo is what I was gonna say. It smells like
baby. Yeah, man.
Go ahead, Shawn.
Just want to say, sports owners, no maniacs, unite. Just want to say thanks for tuning in, for support. Man, it's fun. It is fun. You know, and that's the thing, is like we and that's why you love us. That's why you freaking love us, because we're real. We don't agree on everything. All right. I think I'm right all the time. Nomad thinks he's right all the time. Kedz thinks he's right all the time. Keith thinks he's right all the time. That's the whole thing. And that's the
correction, Shawn.
Nomad thinks he's right all the time. Hey, remember when I said words are powerful? I mean, I use that word properly.
Oh, Jesus.
That was great.
The operative word is thinks. You know what? It's fun, man. And that's all it is. We've been doing this stuff since we were kids, man. And you know what? The fact that we're in a situation now to do this for you guys, and it's fun. We enjoy it. And we understand we're not solving world hunger. Okay. We understand that. But we are passionate about our team. All right. Are passionate about our Bears, and we love doing it. We love the interaction that we have with you guys, from you trolls to you guys who support us. Even the trolls support us, because you keep coming back every God blessed day. And we appreciate it, because you know what? That's what makes this fun. Differing opinions. So you know what? Sit back, relax, take about an hour and a half. So you take about a 22-hour break, and we'll see you guys mañana. That's tomorrow for you non-Spanish speaking people.
So for everybody, please remember, like, share, and subscribe to both channels, both the Nomad Network. If you haven't, please make sure you do so. I mean that. I don't say that every day for my help. We really need you to do that in a big way. Please do that. And thank you all for coming, man. Let me tell you guys something. There's a couple things I can say here. Like, it's not work when it's fun. This is joy right here, being able to come to you guys live and chop it up and talk Bears football with you guys. And I think you guys can sense that, you know, because sometimes I turn the show on and I'm just listening to the audio version of it, not watching it. And I can hear the passion coming through my phone when I'm just walking around the house doing what I got to do. I'm listening to the show. And just to see, you know, I might learn something that I could do better, whatever it is, but it's worth doing sometimes. And I'm telling you, I think I understand why you guys really gravitate to this network and this show in particular. The passion really comes through. I mean, it really pounds through the phone. You can hear it, and I think people love that part of the show. And somebody was saying something about it earlier today. It's like, I think, what was his name? I can't remember the guy's name, but he was talking about, he's like, this feels like the best barbershop in the world, something like that, he said. And that's the feel. You know, I've had the fellas behind the scenes try to really get after me about, man, we need more structure. We need more structure. And I kept telling them, like, I don't know about that, man. I think if we structure it too much, we lose the magic. We lose the magic that makes us us. You know what I mean? Just being wild, unscripted, and kind of just letting it fly. And that's what we do every day. And I think that's why people gravitate to the show. And so you guys know that everybody that's donating to the channel and giving these super chats, just know it's for a good reason. Later on, you're going to find out. And the dedication to this channel and this network is real. I'll give you a perfect example. Chris shouldn't have really been here today. He dropped out a couple of minutes ago, but his car broke down. His son had to come get him, but he was good enough to make sure that he was here. And so the show got off onto the right foot, onto the right track. So Chris didn't have to do that. I told him he didn't, but he came just because he's dedicated to what we're doing. So everybody that's spending money and giving us shout outs, just know you're giving it to the right people, because we are absolutely dedicated to you guys and making sure we provide you some great ass content, and we love it. And so one more time, I just wanted to say shout out to everybody that gave donations, and shout out to everybody involved in the show, whether you did or you didn't. We love you anyway. And so with that being said, I got to leave you guys with these famous words: love, peace, and hair grease, y'all.
Peace,
Bear
y'all.
down.
We're
Yeah.